Hello and welcome to Model Mania, and today we are all revved up with radio-controlled cars. Now this is part of a kit, and you're probably thinking, well, it doesn't look much. Well, how would you like to turn this into something very special? Take a look at this. That is the finished product, and there's only one man that can show us how to do that, and that is Model Maestro Malcolm Mitchell. Malcolm, nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
So how can we transform that into that?
Well, most instructions that you get with these kits don't give you an awful lot of detail about how to paint the body shell. So what I'll show you during this program is a simple stage-by-stage, step-by-step process of painting the body shell, applying the stickers, getting it to look like that.
Lovely. Now, you race cars for in real life, didn't you?
I did.
How would you like to do a miniature version of a pit stop challenge against the clock?
Oh, we'll give it a go.
Well, you can only do your best, can't you?
I'll try.
This would be great for you to watch as well, because if you want to race these cars, you'll need to know exactly what's going to happen. That'll be coming up on the show. Also coming up later, Jamie Booth, one of the world's top model car champions, will be showing us the kind of cars he's just brilliant at driving, including a monster truck, and I'll be going trackside to soak up the tension at a radio-controlled car Grand Prix. Well, that was a great day, and as you probably saw there, a lot of cars being thrashed about, but they seem to be a bit flimsy to me, Martin.
Oh, not at all. These body shells are very strong. They're made of a material called Lexan, which is a polycarbonate, which is the same stuff that fleet's riot shields are made of.
Really?
And they're vacuum formed into the shape of whatever make of car you want to put on your chassis. You can get lots of different, makes of cars with the same chassis, so you can ring the changes. A lot of people have a best body shell for when it's on show in the house, and they have a racing shell, so it doesn't matter if it rolls. And a really grotty one if they're going to lend it to their mates to drive. 3 different types of shells there. Also, you've got different... yeah, we've got a nice model of an Escort here, which has got 3 colours involved in the spraying, so that's the most complicated version with a masking. There's a nice plain yellow job there, the Lotus. And we've got a nice metallic finish here with a nice lot of decals on there, even the interior with the driver and navigator, even reading his map.
Lots of detail there, and we'll be looking at that later. So 3 different types there, and I know also that there are lots of different scales and lots of different types of engines, and there's only one man that can explain all that. It is, of course, Jamie Booth.
I've been into cars from being a little boy, from model cars to real cars. But at school I've got one of these cars, radio control, and I you go away to a rally, and before you get there you've got perhaps 10 hours work before you get there. The thing that takes all the time is you have to check that the car's working efficiently. The shock absorbers are functioning correctly, the transmission's working efficiently, the car, and make sure you've got no radio problems. To do this properly can take 10 to 20 hours, no problem.
The way the colour measurement, people are curious.
This is a racing car. It's got twin differentials, one in the rear. CAD batteries. It's got an electronic speed controller, which basically works similar to like a Scalextric controller, just it does it all electronically. This particular one is a Dodge Stratos shell, which on the track gives a very stable performance. A popular shell is a Alpha 156. This particular shell gives you more steering than Dodge Stratos, and the aerodynamics do make a big difference. This one's a 1/8 scale off-road gas-powered buggy. It's powered by a similar power unit as the other car. It's also 4-wheel drive, but it's designed to race off-road. It's got 3 differentials, it's got twin disc brakes, also a quick fill fuel tank. We also have long races for these, and basically it can go anywhere. It's unstoppable. Taking it to the extreme, you can go to BMX tracks and the car can sit 20-30 foot in the air, no problem. Very strong car, good fun to drive. This body shell might look a little bit big and bulky compared to the other one, but it's actually quite good fun to drive. It's got a high centre of gravity, and so you can see the truck leaning around, and it makes it quite easy to drive and predict how it's going to slide.
That truck is a mean machine. Got to have one of those. Now, we're going to be painting our body shell, and Malcolm, you've got a few tricks of the trade that you're going to let us in on.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's all straightforward stuff, but there are a few pointers that you've got to follow, really. I mean, this is the best bit for me. It's the exciting bit, because we're transforming this into something that looks like a car. It's like magic when you peel off all the coating. There it is. The first thing you do, you've got to decide whether you want to trim the body shell before painting it, or leave it for trimming afterwards. I prefer to trim it afterwards, actually, because these little lines all around here, which we've got to cut to, they're a lot easier to see when it's painted than when it's clear. They can become almost invisible when you're trying to cut them out with a pair of scissors. If you do want to trim it first, use a fine black felt tip and carefully go around the lines. You'll find it follows in the dent there, and you can see them. But as I said, I prefer to paint it afterwards. It's easier to trim.
I mean, that is your preference, but is the best way to do it?
I think it's the best way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it gives a better finish.
If it's good for you, Malcolm, it's good for me.
Right, great stuff. Next thing we do, we put the body mounts on the chassis already. So if it hasn't already got the dimples marked on the body shell like this has by the kit manufacturer, place it exactly in the right place, and with the felt tip again,
Just do it yourself.
just little marks where the posts touch. Now this is covered in a protective film, so any marking I do on the body will peel off when we take the final coating off. So you can mask off and paint lines on it and do all sorts, so that once you peel that off, it'll all disappear. Not a problem. And don't forget, we're painting this from the inside.
Why are we painting it from the inside?
Because it gives such a lovely finish, and it's scratch-proof. In the battle of racing and what have you, we're not going to get any damage.
I'll need loads of paint on mine, I can tell you.
Right, once we've marked those posts, just with a little pilot drill, just drill the holes so we know where they are. You can put a little bit of masking tape over them to save any spray coming through afterwards.
And there's no problem with this cracking when you're drilling in there at all?
No, we're just doing a little pilot hole, that's all. The most important thing, give it a good wash inside, because this has come off a mould, it's been vacuum formed, and it's covered in a release agent, which is quite greasy. So a little drop of washing up liquid, warm water, swill it round with a brush, and then dry it off with a hairdryer. Make sure it's absolutely dry. And then we're on to masking up the window area. We put masks on the inside where the glass is going to be, so that when we paint it, we peel them off and the glass is all beautifully clear.
And do you mask it like you would do a normal car with masking tape and everything?
No, luckily most of the kit manufacturers supply a sheet of window masks already. And all you have to do is peel them off, and you'll see the shape of the windows there already cut out for you. If you've got to use masking tape yourself, use a really good quality, high-grade masking tape, not ordinary car stuff which is corrugated, but a special airbrush masking tape which you can get from art shops, so you don't get paint creeping underneath.
Yeah, but that in the kit will save a lot of time, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. If you'd like to get the chassis out of the way, and just pass me the body shell,
There you go, sir.
we'll show you how these go on. What I've done is put a couple of little marks with a felt tip in the corner there, so we know exactly where the corner of the window's got to go, so we can easily put the masks in place.
Do you just get one go at that? Or
No, you can peel it off,
Right.
because you never get them on straight. I mean, we've just put that one on quickly to show. But go around the edges really well with your fingernail, so that paint doesn't creep underneath. Okay?
Lovely.
Here's one that we've prepared earlier. We put the masks on all round, and as you can see, all the windows
They're all done.
are all covered, and we've pushed all the air bubbles out. We've gone round with a fingernail. Everything's ready for painting.
Right.
Okay? Make sure that there's no dust or bits and pieces inside, and we're ready to paint.
Okay.
What I do is warm it up with a hairdryer slightly, the actual body shell, so that when the first coats of paint go in, it dries very quickly, and that again saves any paint creep going underneath.
I see. So keep it warm. Lovely.
That's right. And we're ready to paint. We have to use a special polycarbonate paint. Don't use ordinary car paint, it'll just fall off. This is specially formulated for polycarbonate, and it will etch itself into the surface. and we're ready to paint. But
How many cans would you use, say, roughly? How many cans would it take to paint the car?
One can will do the car, yeah, good coating. Because this metallic paint is quite thin, you've got to put quite a few coats on. But on with the spray mask, very important.
Don't have your safety gear. Okay, here we go.
And away we go.
I can hear you okay, by the way, with these masks.
You can? Oh, that's good. I also put a rubber glove on to hold the...
Just the one?
Yeah, just the one to hold the body shell in place.
Okay, lovely. So our windows are sealed, our paint is ready. Any particular technique that you should be doing with the paint?
Yeah, don't use it like an aerosol, you know, deodorant or anything like that. It's got to be put on with short strokes off at the end of each stroke.
Any
so
particular direction you're going in there, or does it matter?
No, it doesn't matter at all. I tend to do the long sides and then across the ends like that, and slowly build it up.
Lovely. Well, I'll let you continue that.
Right.
All the work is going to be continuing after the break. Also, there will be a trackside seat at a model car Grand Prix, and, of course, Malcolm will be put through the test in his pit stop challenge against the clock. And for a man like him, that'll be no problem. We'll see you soon. Welcome back to Model Mania, and today we're looking at model cars. Now, Malcolm is just finishing off preparing our four-wheel drive Subaru, which is nicely done there.
Yep, we've finished the painting process now. It's had 4 coats of paint on the inside, and I've also backed it with a nice dense black so that you can't see through the shell, because this metallic paint is quite translucent, actually. So,
I mean, yeah, it looks nice enough, you know, for a top-class finish. It still looks a bit grubby.
oh, we haven't taken the protective coating off yet.
Right, I see.
That reveals the final finish.
Can I?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, here we go.
You can do the honours.
And then you just pull that off.
Just peel that right back. Look at that.
Wow, look at that.
What a difference.
That's better.
That's more like it.
Yeah.
And then we take off the window mask. Again, which just brings it really alive once these clear glass areas are...
Oh, wow, yeah.
Are clear. If you can get it off your finger, that is, afterwards as well.
Because you stuck it down so well, Malcolm. That's probably why.
As I said, you've got to stick it down, otherwise the paint creeps underneath. There.
And this is the exciting part, I know, because it's all starting to come together.
It's beginning to look like a real car now. Next job we do is trim it. Now, the wheel arches, you can trim them either using by special curved scissors, or better still, I use this compass cutter, which is specially designed for cutting wheel arches.
Right.
All it is a little point and a very sharp blade. And it's a simple job of just putting the point in the centre mark, which is already marked on this body.
So they're
shell.
marked in the kits already?
They have.
Right.
If you haven't got it one marked, you've got to find the centre yourself, which isn't too difficult.
Okay.
And you just
Score around the...
score right round like that.
Nice.
And you'll find
So again, you just bend them to and fro, and that'll just pop out. But I mean, that's a bit rough there, isn't it?
yeah, well, we can finish that off with a little bit of carborundum wool. Or if it's really 50p pieces, if you've used this, if you've used the scissors,
Mine would probably be, yeah.
you can use a little grind wheel on a little mini drill and just
see.
gently take off the high spots and finish it off with a carborundum wool.
Nice.
Okay, and now, once we've trimmed off all the straight lines using either straight pair of scissors or a scalpel, very careful with those, along those edges there, snap them off, score them, clean it up, and we're ready to put the stickers on.
The stickers, the decals, my favourite part.
The favourite bit. Comes in a big sheet. You just cut them out using a sharp pair of scissors as close to the edge of the decal as possible.
Okay.
If you'd like to cut out a couple of those, I'll start sticking on the ones I've done here.
Okay, keeping close to the decals as possible, right? Okay.
Get the old Monte Carlo rally sign on the
I mean,
front
is this the best bit for you, Malcolm?
Oh, yeah, I mean, this really comes alive now.
The finishing touch, yeah.
And here's the difference it makes around the windows.
Right.
Look at the difference there. Once you've got the window frames round, it covers up that edge of paint, makes it look really realistic. And one tip as well, here's the finish body shell with all the stickers on.
Beautiful.
If you've got large stickers like this over multi-surfaces, a good tip is to give it a little spray with window cleaner over the body shell, not too wet, just to dampen it. You'll then find you can move that sticker around.
Right, I
Press
see.
it down, get all the air bubbles out, and it'll stick when the window cleaner evaporates.
Absolutely brilliant.
Okay.
Look at that, the finished article. Now, there's no point
there
having
isn't.
one of these cars if you're not going to race it quickly. Now, at Tipshot in Derbyshire, there is such a racetrack. It's a special circuit that modellers have been using for over 20 years. So one Sunday, I went along to soak up the race day atmosphere.
If you look around, there's like loads of guys. I think we've got over 100 drivers here today, and there's 6 classes which we can cater for everyone's needs. There's, there's beginners and there's professionals.
Well, speaking of beginners, because I'm a beginner,
Right.
the electric cars look easy to drive, but are they?
Yes, they are easier to drive. It's something that we recommend to a beginner. As I say, you just charge your battery up, plug it in, and away it can go. It can be that easy. And obviously with some help from a model shop or something, you're away in me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Of course, it's not just a case of getting your car going, but getting around the track in the fastest time possible, and there's a real technique to it.
You come out of that chicane very close to the hairpin.
Chicane, so you use the whole thing, don't you?
Yeah, well, it's the real thing, but smaller. You come out of there tight, and you can actually put a straight line right across the front of the pit, turn very gently across the right-hander there, and use all the track coming out. So try not to disturb the car. Get it up 3/4 of the way out to the left-hand side of the track, bring it high, come down and touch in here, and come out.
Darren, tell us, what's the name of the group?
We are known as Team CBA.
CBA. Can we ask what that stands for?
Nope.
No?
It's probably better not.
Okay, moving swiftly on. And how long? Can't be bothered. And how much practice do you put into your racing?
Absolutely. Why do you think we got the name CBA?
So when you all get together, what kind of things do you get up to after racing during the day?
Balti.
What's that?
Curry.
Curries. Oh, Baltis, right, yeah.
Once you've got it past the apex of that, that is flat out, all the way up here.
Straight down there, yeah.
Straight down here, diagonal to straight again. That last little marker there, off the throttle, turn it in, and gently on the throttle down there. Now, the gas cars are going to have to brake before they get to the chicane.
Right, I
But
see.
the electrics, if you've got a good setup, you can actually drive the first part of that chicane flat out and brake at the last minute. Got to take the second part of the chicane tight, and then again tight for the right-hander back past the pits, and that's the lap of 2 shots.
Competitors turn up for race days like this armed with tent loads of tools and spares for tuning and tweaking their models. There's a real family atmosphere with drivers of all ages. So, Christy, when you knock the car over, do you take the top off and fix it?
No, I just put it to the side for my dad to fix it.
So you break it and let your dad fix it?
Yeah, because I don't know anything about them.
You don't know anything about them, but you just enjoy driving?
I just watch my dad drive me around.
Yeah. Does your dad drive cars as well?
Yeah,
Who's the best? Are you better than him, or is he better than you?
I'm better than him.
Oh, yeah. So, Rob, tell me about nitro cars.
Nitro cars, well, they're different from the electrics because they've got an internal combustion engine. IC is what they're commonly known as, which is for internal combustion. A lot of people call them nitro as well, which is because of the fuel they use. It's nitro-based fuel. And that's it. They're pretty much the same in the construction as electric cars, but of course they make lots of noise when they're running, and everybody seems to like that.
I mean, what kind of prices are we looking at? Say for a beginner up to an advanced driver?
Well, you could get a pretty good set of kit, everything, for about £250. That's enough to get you going, about £250.
And how high can that rise to?
Oh, well over 1,000.
Now, because the races were fairly short that day, what you did see was the feverish activity going on in the pit lane. So what we're going to do is we're going to reenact that now with Malcolm, but he's got to do it against the clock. He's got 60 seconds to do a complete pit stop change. Malcolm, are you ready?
Yep.
Are you steady?
Yep.
Go. Okay, 60 seconds are up. So how often would you change the tyres, Malcolm?
Well, I'm changing them because the weather's gone damp, so I'm putting some wets on. That's the main reason you change them usually during the race. You don't usually wear out a whole set of tyres straight away.
So it's just for conditions?
Yeah, and refuel at the same time when you come in, just to make sure you've got enough to...
So how do you know when to refuel? Obviously, if you're up on the podium and you're racing,
you get to know your car, how many laps it can do on one tank full of petrol and or gas rather, and you know exactly when to bring it in.
Okay, 30 seconds.
Right.
Now, obviously, you're doing it in the workshop, but what's it like doing this when you're in competition mode?
Feverish, a bit like this really, but usually it's raining.
40 seconds.
Yeah. Well, it would be raining if I'm just putting the wets on as well.
And how long have you been doing? How long have you had this as a hobby?
Oh, about 10 years now, I suppose.
Look at that. And the wheels are going on. Quick time check now. You're coming up to 55 seconds. You're 5 seconds away from the minute. Is he going to do it? And your 60 seconds are now up, Malcolm. Carry on, sir, carry on. Thank you very much for today, Malcolm. Thank you very much indeed. And if you're racing your cars, please race safely. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Model Mania. Whoa, 80 seconds. One minute and 29 seconds.
Oh well, next time.